BBC recently has been in news when there was also a demand, a plea rather, in the Supreme Court of India to ban the channel in India. That plea, however, was thrown out the window by the Supreme Court. This after the BBC put out a documentary on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In fact, the documentary drew a lot of attention, with the opposition also raising it. The BBC, in fact, had said that it had done thorough research before putting out the documentary on Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his alleged role as the Chief Minister of Gujarat when the riots took place in Gujarat. Milan Sharma has more details on the raids that are ongoing right now. Milan, what more can you tell us?
Well, Sneha, this morning between 9 to 10:30 a.m. when the employees reached the BBC office at Kasturba Gandhi Marg in Delhi, they were told to return back home. Currently, the offices have been sealed. The employees that reached the office, their phones also have been seized. There were, sources that have informed us that at the moment there's no current statement or an official statement that's coming out from the BBC India office. But the London office has been apprised of the entire matter, and perhaps we'll be hearing a word or two from the London office on the entire fiasco that has happened today. The Income Tax Department raid on the BBC office comes close on the heels of the BBC documentary that spoke about the Gujarat riots, that spoke about the 2002 riots there, and of course Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well. The entire documentary was centered on him and his role in the Gujarat riots in 2002. Perhaps we can join these links together, but at the moment we are yet to receive an official word from the Income Tax Department as well as to why this particular raid was orchestrated today itself, and whether or not it's going to be a day-long raid, perhaps because the employees have been told to go back home, and there has been no official word either from the BBC or from the IT department on this particular raid, Sneha.
Milan, the fact is that the documentary raised so much of a storm in India and outside as well, and BBC has been in news for these reasons. This matter is bound to be picked up by the opposition to say that we said so, that these are departments that are being misused by the BJP to settle political scores. I'm really guessing that's going to happen, isn't it?
Well, Sneha, that's quite a possibility, because when we talk of raids on media offices like the BBC, it certainly would be picked up by the opposition to say that this directly hits at the freedom of speech and expression. Because this morning also we've seen Home Minister Amit Shah gave an interview, and he did say that they have nothing to hide, and that the BBC and a foreign lobby has been targeting India's Prime Minister since 2002. And just after that, this particular information of a raid on the BBC offices based in Delhi at Kasturba Gandhi Marg. Well, the entire building is where other offices are also based out of, but only the BBC office on one particular floor has been sealed at the moment. And we know from our sources that employees at the BBC have now been told to stay out of the office for some time, with their phones also being seized. We'll have to wait and see what kind of official information comes forward from both the BBC company
Be
as
with
well
us, Milan. Just coming back to you in a moment from now. In fact, Abhishek is also joining us. Abhishek, this is some sort of a verification exercise, or is it an income tax raid? Get us more details about what's really going on right now.
Well, this morning the Income Tax Department has carried out searches. It's a verification exercise, what is being said. Usually, the Income Tax does not call this a raid. They say that it's a survey. But in this particular instance, there is no official word. So what we have got to know is that there is a team of the Income Tax Office in the Delhi office of BBC. Some phones have been taken away of the employees there. What exactly is being verified is something for the Income Tax Department to clarify. But yes, the timing of this exercise rather significant at a time when the BBC has been in controversy. There was a documentary by the BBC on Gujarat riots. and it has become a big political issue in India. So at this point of time, for the BBC, for the Income Tax Department to reach the doorstep of BBC is obviously going to grab eyeballs, not just within the country, but even internationally.
Well, absolutely, internationally as well, given that outside of India, in the UK also this matter was raised. There have been questions about the functioning of the government in the past as well. And the opposition, Abhishek, has always said that the government uses instruments and like the income tax, for example, and the ED to settle scores, to settle political scores. This raid or this verification process is just going to amplify this argument, isn't it?
Well, definitely, Sneha, we can expect a political storm over what has happened today. And also, once again, the timing is very significant. It's just yesterday that the parliament session has gone into recess. If the session was still going on and this exercise took place, we could well imagine what would have happened in parliament. In any case, the parliament could hardly function. There was a lot of attack from the opposition on various issues, including the Adani controversy. Even the BBC controversy had found a voice in parliament. So if this had happened yesterday or before that, then there would be a big showdown in parliament. But the fact that the parliament has gone into recess, at least that part is taken care of. But needless to say that there is going to be a huge political row over this. So we can expect the opposition to gun for the government, and it remains to be seen what the government and the IT department has to say about this verification exercise that is taking place.
Yes, already a lot of chatter, Abhishek, that I see on social media, where a lot of people are saying that this is rather predictable in that sense. BBC has been in the eye of the storm. The government has been very upset. In fact, there was a plea in the Supreme Court saying that the channel must actually be banned in India. Of course, that plea was thrown out of the window.
Well, that's right. I mean, to ban BBC would be obviously pushing it too far. That's something that the government obviously wouldn't even want to do. But yes, I mean, there is a lot of talk about what's happened today. There is a lot of reaction already on social media, people tweeting about it, and we can expect a war of words on this subject. But it's also interesting why the Income Tax Department has not clearly stated what exactly is the purpose of this exercise. What exactly are they trying to find out? Why have they reached the BBC office? All these are questions that the Income Tax Department needs to answer quickly.
Yes, and this is a verification sort of an exercise is what we are picking up. Income tax concealment is what we are hearing. So this is just the Delhi office, essentially, Abhishek, as of now?
Well, the word has come in, Sneha, that it's in other offices as well, perhaps even in Mumbai. But because there is no official word, it's difficult to give out details of which are the premises that have been searched, what exactly is the purpose of the searches, what has been seized. What is the kind of team that has gone to carry out this exercise? All these are details that are still awaited. We can only comment on these things once the income tax comes out with some kind of an official statement. Till now, nothing of that sort has happened.
All right, so possibly in Mumbai, but there are sketchy details, and we'll be very careful as far as our reportage on this is concerned. This may or may not be an income tax raid. It could be a verification process, is what Abhishek is also telling us. So right now the details we have with us are fairly sketchy in nature, but possibly the raids are ongoing in Mumbai as well. Delhi office definitely has income tax sleuths right now, is what we know. Abhishek, what we also know is that the telephones of many of the employees have been sealed. They've been asked to go home.
I mean, that's the word that we have got. Our correspondent on the ground, Milan Sharma, in fact, gave this information that phones have also been seized. And what the nature of this exercise is, Sneha, it's still not clear. What we've heard is that this is a verification exercise, not a quote-unquote raid. But for the BBC, for the Income Tax Department to be at the BBC office, that in itself is a big thing. Usually the Income Tax Department wouldn't go to the office of a news organization What the exact reason is still not known, and we do not want to speculate on anything. Obviously, there will be a lot of talk about the BBC documentary that had come out. It had triggered a political row, and in the backdrop of that, something like this to happen is obviously rather interesting.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.